Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about what happened to the Cretaceous Cruise. So for those of you that don't know, the Cretaceous Cruise was an attraction at the newer Isla Nublar resort. Here, tourists would be able to kayak through the enclosures of quite a few interesting and unique dinosaurs. While only being briefly seen in the 2015 film, we actually know a lot about what the attraction would have been like when it was fully operational. One of the more important things that we know about it happens to be what dinosaurs you could see while kayaking through the resort. These animals would include species like the Apatosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Stegosaurus, and Microceratus. Essentially, what you'd be getting on your trip through the Cretaceous Cruise would be an incredible look at some of Jurassic World's dinosaurs up close and personal. Of course, with the inevitable shutdown of that theme park though, pretty much everything on the island would be closed off and left abandoned after the massive lawsuits that followed the Indominus Rex's escape. And the Cretaceous Cruise would definitely be one of those lost attractions. Interestingly, unlike many of the other areas of the resort, the ultimate fate of the Cretaceous Cruise hasn't really been talked about too much by fans, which I find really interesting since we actually have evidence to suggest that something really bad had to have gone down there. If we take a look at the Jurassic World control room screens at multiple points in the film, we can see Lowry and Vivian observing every part of Jurassic World that they can. When something terrible goes down at one of the attractions, we get an indication of that event happening on screen with a red warning icon. A good example of this would be when the Indominus Rex breaks into the aviary. Well, if you pay close attention to the screen during the later parts of the film, you can actually see that the Cretaceous Cruise happened to have been compromised during this time as well. Now, we don't actually get to see this exhibit destroyed or really even talked about in the film, but I do think it's very interesting to see that at some point during the Indominus's breakout, that attraction would also have been offline. What makes this information really interesting happens to be the fact that herbivorous dinosaurs wouldn't be the only things that lived inside of the attraction. And if it indeed did have some sort of containment anomaly, that would mean Metriacanthosaurus, Suchomimus, and Baryonyx could have been involved. Now, fans have long talked about how crazy it was for these carnivorous species to somehow be housed in the same location as all of the more gentler creatures that I mentioned earlier. Even though we know that they had barriers and precautions set in place, just the idea that you'd be kayaking near some swimming meat eaters set off a lot of red flags. And if these guys were the ones responsible for the shutdown of the Cretaceous Cruise, well, that had to be one pretty wild situation for the guests to be in. Truth be told, there isn't really any sort of answer as to what went down on this part of the island. Really anything could be responsible for the ride's closing, whether it be free Pteranodons that flew towards the body of water from overhead, or maybe even just a simple evacuation that was put into place after the aviary was destroyed. Honestly, we have no idea why this part of Jurassic World was compromised. Although, if I had to make a wild guess, I'd say that putting those swimming dinosaurs near defenseless kayakers wasn't exactly the safest call. If the Indominus Rex or maybe some other loose animal wound up destroying the fences or safety systems of that resort, well, it would only be a matter of time for those Spinosaurids to chance a quick and easy snack. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Now, as always, this video wouldn't be possible without the support of my awesome game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Their continued support has really been a lot of help to me when making this stuff, and I never want them to ever forget it. So a big thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in seeing me again. I'll see you all in the next one, guys, and as always, take it easy.